So 11 months ago on May 12th, this smart contract bought 4,055 different tokens and paired them or whatever, and it paired a Pulse and Pulsex and stuff too. Anyway, all of those pairs are now worth $1.2 million in current market value, with Pulse being where it's at. Now, of course, this has been fluctuating up and down, but the point is these tokens were paired up like day one or before anybody could even do it. And a lot of people don't even know this exists because this wallet has no followers, right? It's never been spammed with tokens, meaning, people never discovered it, say, oh, I'm going to start sending tokens, because they do this. People will send tokens to wallets, and then they have all these really weird contracts that are now like dividend contracts that send you like rewards in little fractions, and it just ruins the transaction history. So you can't really follow it because it's just like expand like 24/7 with all these like fractions of dust, and it's real money, so it like actually shows up on the Explorer. And anyway, these two wallets in conjunction, like this bigger wallet, which is holding it's the number one holder of the WBTC PRC20 fork, and then the smaller wallet, which was like the Snipe LP like provider, it never bought or did anything since then. It just like provided LP like day one, let it sit. Those two in conjunction kind of work together because one like seeded the LP, one has been buying the tokens that are in those LPs, right, to increase the value because he knows it's safe. It's his own holding. So that's kind of what I was talking about here. And, there's 4,000 tokens that are tradable, effectively. Some really don't have liquidity, but some have ballooned to where they've got a lot, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So what do you think? Is that a good thing? Like, is it going to dump or pump the coins? What part does it play?
So that's a good question, right? And I don't know, because it could mean many different things, right? I don't know his personal intentions, but I can say from what I would do. He wanted to create this sort of like coupon, right? What do coupons do? They bring in customers. He needed to bring users to the chain. So how do you do that? You create value and you attract users to that value by advertising that value. So he goes on Twitter and he goes, #Ethereum. He goes, wondering what free coins you might have waiting for you. Because guess what? He's the one who made these pools and provided liquidity and has been buying them back in his other wallet, his other whale wallet, and providing liquidity to all these different pairs. Because the other whale wallet is holding $15 million, right? And how could you say it's not Richard Hart? It's providing liquidity to all these different pairs. Now, could it be one of his developers that he set up to do this? Sure. Or just a smart contract or whatever. He's not in direct contact. Sure. Am I just jumping to conclusions by saying it's him? Maybe. But the point is, there is a duo of wallets that are holding the LPs, and then there's his other buyback wallet, which like is not even, we haven't talked about. That's the one that bought back and pumped Pulsex. Like that one is holding, it was holding mainly LP in like stable coins, which was weird. It was just kind of stabling them up, but then removing them.
And speaking about stable coins, I was curious to wondering how is PDI pumping and the rest of the stable coins on the Pulsechain side are pumping. If anybody knows.
Like what's causing that?
Right.
Well, again, I think it's just this whole narrative where the other day, right? I don't know about like right now, but the other day where he put out that tweet and he was just drawing attention to these things, the price shot up, right? That day it went from, let's say like before the tweet, it was like 0.006 and shot up like 50% and pull back. We're kind of in a chop range here, but in a wedge. But if you look at the daily chart, you pull back at the daily chart, that thing is just absolutely going parabolic. And it's forming like a bull flag. It formed multiple bull flags that broke out of, right? Little pennant, breakout, really long drawdown, but breakout, another big drawdown on that second pennant. But it kept doing that. Now it's in a tighter range, but it's mainly because now I think Richard Hart's legitimizing this thing. He's holding it. He's increasing the liquidity, and he's talking about it more.
Well, I hope he doesn't pump anything soon. I'm trying to get some money together to get in some PLSX and PLS, trying to scoop some more up. Hopefully it goes lower.
Oh, you're just like a buy and hold type guy?
Right.
I used to be like that, and it's like, I don't know, man. Once I learned how to DeFi yield farm and do it the right way, I never looked back.
Right.
So that's why I put almost all of my money's in yield farming.
That's great. Yeah, I was curious about it, but since I didn't know much about it, I didn't want to get liquidated or anything. So I didn't want to look around and find out until I get some knowledge. So your strategy is farming.
Yeah, so I'm a total DeFi degen. I've been in crypto for like 11 years now, right? So I've basically done about everything. I've farmed it, I've coded it, I do all that stuff, right? And in my opinion, the best way to, number one, guarantee money, right? Guarantee profit, but also ensure that you don't do anything stupid, right? Kind of like cement your value, is to just yield farm in a safe strategy, right? So that's, with an asterisk, because anytime that there's a reward, there has to be a risk, period. Okay. And what's your risk? You're holding assets which are volatile or could move up and down in value. There's smart contract risk. There's just all sorts of DeFi risk. But if you're willing to overcome that for the insane return, then you can make back ridiculous profits, right? And I've been successful doing this, and I can prove it. I can show you how, guys, it works. But it's just as simple as this. It's not really complicated. Everyone overcomplicates DeFi yield farming, but it works like this in the best way. Hold 2 blue chip assets that you're going to farm in an ABC format. That's it. And you provide something. What I like to do is I do like a ETH dollar equivalent, like whatever the gas token, like the native gas token is for the chain, like ETH, like AVAX, Matic, Pulse, whatever that is, that's like the ETH equivalent, and their stable coin. That is a legit stable coin. It can't be some weird one-off stable coin, like derivatives or derivatives or derivatives. It has to be USDC, USDT, DAI, one of those three, like a blue chip. So using this format, you earn back whatever the platform token is if it's legit. And like in this case with pulsex.com, it's the main platform. It's the number 1 DEX on Pulsechain, and it's the first thing that came out. You farm Ink token. So you would provide like Pulse in whatever stablecoin you're comfortable with, because they're all pretty similar now. But I do USDT. So Pulse USDT to earn back Ink. It's that simple. But now don't forget to sell what you earn, because otherwise you're not really earning what it says. The price could go down, and that's the big mistake, is it is inflationary, right? So in this example, I'll give you an example of what I am doing, right? It's earning 85% APR, right? So every day you're earning 0.23%, which is, it's pretty good. In a month, you're compounding it, you're earning like 7% plus per month right now. And that's daily yield, which you're taking off the top. You're able to come and harvest it in real time, every hour, every day, every 2 days, whatever you feel like doing. I come in like once or twice a day to yield. I don't make it crazy complicated, like, because I have a lot of wallets, I'll come in and have to harvest multiple wallets. I come in and harvest once per day, just, in the morning, take my harvest, I sell it, whatever the price is, I just take my yield. And if you want to grow your account, you compound it, right? And that's how you get that 7% compound. And it's going to grow and grow and grow, which is insane. Because at this rate, you'll get over 100% back. You will literally double your money in a year by compounding on Pulsex V1 farms. And that's not even the best DeFi yield farms. Like, there's better yield farms. So this is just on Pulsechain, which I am doing and I feel comfortable with, because it's blue chip, it's Pulse, it's stabled up. If the price goes down, I'm hedged. I don't have 100% exposure to Pulse. I'm 50% exposed with this LP. And you don't even see 50% losses, because the way the impermanent loss works, you actually get, like, let's say 4% losses on a 5% drop, or on a 10% drop. And the whole time you're earning yield. You're earning yield every single day, which you can allocate towards whatever you want, cashing it out, paying bills, buying meme coins, putting it in leverage, which if you want to leverage trade, I do not recommend using your principal capital. Never. Only use your rewards. Only use freshly harvested money that is not from your principal. Never be like withdrawing from your, the equity in your house to go to the casino. Like, that's crazy. So again, the formula is simple. Go to pulsex.com, go to their farm page. You have to provide liquidity, which all the links are right there. But you pick the farm you're comfortable with, and you earn the Ink token. Now, don't make these classic mistakes again. Don't hold the Ink token past your harvest, because people go, oh, cool, I'm going to keep holding it until it goes up or whatever. And it could go up, but it more than likely goes down. It goes down more often than it goes up, right? That's just kind of how these harvestable things work. So you sell your yield and you compound it back in the farm. Or like I do, I reinvest it in other places sometimes, right? But compounding is the smartest thing, because it's going to grow and grow and grow. So you're earning more each day. And then when Pulse goes up, which eventually it will recover, you can decide to do whatever with the farm, right? Some people, this is the exit strategy for the farm. A lot of people leave it in the farm, and that's fine. But you suffer from impermanent loss when the price goes up. You have less units of Pulse and more dollars, right? Overall, it's going to be more dollars in general, but you'll have less units in Pulse and more dollars, because that's how that works, like a seesaw. And some people go, well, I'm just going to remove my LP, buy back all my Pulse, so they get more Pulse units, and then ride it back up. And that's kind of speculative gambling. You're not earning yield in that time. And I'm not trying to time the market like that, because I don't really care, because I'm earning so much yield, it doesn't matter. So by keeping it in the farm and continually harvesting and rolling over that capital, you have cash flow, which most people don't have. Most people are speculating. Their cash flow is their job, or making a score on some meme coin, which is gambling, or putting money into a leverage trade, which pays off, which also is gambling. And that could turn badly against you. Now, again, I'm not saying liquidity providing you can't lose money, because that's not true. You can 100% lose money in liquidity providing if you don't know what you're doing. But this is why I use a simple blueprint. A, B, C formula. You sell C to see your profits. You never hold on an ink token. You sell it when you harvest it. And a lot of people take the ink token. This is the other mistake. They take the ink token and they go, oh, I'm going to put an ink farm. Because they go, well, I have ink. I go to just farming. And that doesn't make sense either, because the APR is lower than the farm you just got the yield from. So why would you not just compound more into the same farm you're in? So you take the ink and you sell it for dollars in Pulse. That's it. You always have gas, because you're getting free gas every day. You never worry, oh, I'm running out of Pulse because I don't have gas. You're getting free gas every second of every single day. Like every 10 seconds, you're getting a reward on the block. So my thing is like, look, we took some speculative bets by betting on Pulsex going up when the SAC wallet started buying and all that, whatever crap happened last month. And some people got bit hard. I especially did. But it's okay, because you can still farm and earn a yield every single day, man. It's so easy.
Gotcha.
So take your pick. One of them pays 84%, one pays 82%, another one pays 84.4%. They're all very similar. And then the other one, which is going to give you more risk, but more price exposure on the way up, would be the Pulse wrapped ETH pair. Now, the reason why I say this is because if Pulse is going up, Ethereum is going up 100%. They almost never decorrelate, right? If the market's going up, Ethereum's going up, Pulse is going up. You're going to receive more dollar benefit on this, but the downside is Pulse continues to go down, Ethereum continues to go down, you're losing more money in this pool. And the yield is lower. So that's why I'm not in that pool. It's more risk and lower yield. So it doesn't make sense in my eyes. If it's going to be more risk, I want more yield. I'm not going to take more risk for less yield. So I'm going medium to high risk with the Pulse USDT to earn the highest yield.
Is there a minimum that needs to be put in, or you could go?
No, there's no minimum. There's no staking minimums. There's no locking periods. This is the best part. There's no fees, because a lot of farms, they try to charge you a deposit fee, a withdrawal fee. Like, yeah, the fee for gas, that's a side. I don't count that as like the fee, but like there's no staking fee. And a lot of contracts, they try to charge you a staking fee, it's pretty screwy, because then it takes you days or weeks, sometimes months to recover that staking fee if it's really low APR. And I've seen that. It's a predatory tactic for farms. This is what I like to tell people who don't really farm often or don't know about farming, because I've done just about everything you could do in farming. I've made every mistake you could make. I've lost tens of thousands of dollars doing it. I've made tens of thousands of dollars doing it. But the problem is most people just approach it the wrong way, because the first thing is they look at APR first. That's the mistake. Don't look at APR first on a farm, because they always put the native token as the highest APR on a farm.
You were saying like don't look at the APR. Last thing I think you wrote that on.
Yeah. So APR, okay. So this is the problem that people make, right? So they go, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the farm. Like, say it's like XYZ poop coin. It's a new farm. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. First of all, is that farm safe? Is it audited? Most likely these things are not audited ahead of time. So new farms are sketchy in that, even if it is a legitimate team. Then a lot of them are rug pulls. So they'll do sketchy stuff like steal your money, backdoor it, whatever. Say there's a hack. So that's always a problem with these farms. And then the other thing is, what reward token are you getting? What's the viability of that token? Is there liquidity? Can you sell this token if you earn it? Is it going to keep going down tremendously? Is everyone else dumping it? So there's a lot of factors that come into play. So that's why when I farm on Pulse, I use Pulsex as a base case for farming. I say, okay, is this farm going to be better than Pulsex? Is it safer? Is ink token going up? That's always a factor. If ink token's moving up, which it was for a while, the yields were going through the roof. And when you start making 150% APR on something, that's pretty good. And the price of Pulse is going up. All those things were in conjunction. It's all good. But the problem people make is this. They get into a farm and they go, what's the highest APR? 1,000% for their native token. Okay, I can farm cake token, but I have to buy cake and put up dollars with cake to earn cake, which doesn't make sense, right? Because then you're doing an ABA, or I say ABA, ABB model, which is a bad thing. You're becoming exit liquidity for yourself, to where now the token you're earning is the same thing you're selling into your own pool. So it doesn't make sense. You want to provide, like I said, two blue chips that are not correlated necessarily to that third asset, which you're going to be yielding. And when it comes to Ink token, there's plenty of liquidity. There's millions of dollars. Pulsechain, there's millions of dollars to get in and out. You have to worry about, if I'm holding Pulse and I try to exit, I want to go to a different asset. Can I sell this? Is it going to impact my price? Or is it just going to keep going down forever? Like whatever. The value of what you provide in the blue chips is important. Most people pick the wrong A and B. And I've done this. I made this mistake, like dark energy crystals with BNB when it became really popular, and they had this airdrop and it was trading above peg and everyone's buying it. Well, guess what? Now it's not trading above peg. Everyone lost their money. So a lot of the yield farms, again, will offer really attractive yield to probably the worst farm to put your money into, which is funny because like now on Pulsex, it kind of works the other way around. The USDT or the stablecoin Pulse pools have the highest APR because no one wants to be in stablecoins because they want to put all their money, they want to invest 100% of their money into like volatile assets, which will have the highest price appreciation. Because everyone thinks that, well, if this goes up in value, I'm going to lose a bunch of units. And that's true. Now, if, all of a sudden Pulse starts moving parabolically, I don't want to be in this farm. I'm going to pull my LP and, probably flip or just hold it naked and then, reinsert it somewhere. But that's the problem is most people don't understand impermanent loss. They come in with two different assets that are bad. They're holding the yieldable asset and they try to refarm that yieldable asset at a lower APR. And it's like, what are you doing, guys? You have to apply common sense before anything else.
Gotcha.
But let me just say, like, just like a job, you don't know what it is till you've done it, right? And someone who else has done it, they've been through it. I'm a veteran DeFi yield farmer. I spent more in gas than it would cost to buy a brand new car right now, just on Ethereum in 2020. It's sad. I look back at that, I'm like, damn, Ethereum was so cheap. We didn't even think anything of it. We were paying $2, $3, $4 a transaction. Well, that's 1% of an ETH per transaction, bro. So imagine people, paying $30, $40, $50 per transaction now, or feeling the pain from last year and 2 years ago now when all of the prices have gone down so much on gas. I think it's like $3 to a transaction on Ethereum.
Right. I'm speaking about gas and everything, like how you feel about, regarding the tweets Richard Hart was saying basically to kill or say hurt the Ethereum hex. What do you feel about the Ethereum hex's future? Is you think it's gonna like stay down forever, or you think it'll survive and pump up this bull cycle?
So that's an interesting topic because I feel kind of split about this. On one side, I 100% think it will survive. It'll be fine. It is DeFi. You can't take away the LP that exists. Number one, there's over $1 million between just two pairs on the eHex and like eHex hex pair and eHex Pulse and eHex Pulsex, all that stuff. There's like $1 million plus, dude. So you can't take that away, even though it's already shrunk tremendously. It's still there. Some of it's burned, and the other factor is that community is going to stick it out. There's people that have stakes, right? They have to stick it out. What are they going to do? Emergency unstake all of a sudden?
Right.
So he kind of alienated a whole section of his following, and you can see this in the price. You can see this in the backlash. It'll take some time to recover.
I wonder if he did that because what was this other? Was that D Bank or something? They held some type of a sell wall or buy wall or something like that.
So BankX.
Right. Yeah. So I was wondering if he did that because like, listen, you can't put me in a corner. I'll chew my own feet off if I have to. But that's why he started doing all those tweets. I'm thinking because I don't know. I think BankX they took the wall down, or I don't know if I heard it wrong.
I don't think. I mean, their sell wall using the V3. I don't think that was an issue necessarily because whatever. If there was demand, there'd be demand. It wasn't like they were dumping. Now, the problem is he was, I think, just trying to reiterate the message which he had before, but just more clearly because people just didn't seem to get it after he had already clearly dropped some hints about referring to eHex and pHex in a tweet as hex and eHex. He never said pHex. He just says hex and eHex. And then in Pulsex, guess what? It says hex, right? And that's the pHex. So from the start, the forked hex has always been the new hex. It's always meant to be the new chain. and people just didn't get it. He just had to be like, hey, dummies, ding, ding, ding. And then they finally were like, oh, sell, fine, I'll sell. And they dumped all of their EHEX. But that hurt Pulse because it was paired with all that money, like I said, like the $1 million now, which who knows what it was before, millions. And the Pulsex and the ink and everything that it was paired against have just been shredded. So that reduced the overall liquidity and market caps on Pulse because of his stupid decision to even open his mouth. If he had just left it the way it was, what difference would it have made? He just should have just shut up, because it was the same as before as after. The tech has not changed. The opinion has changed. And when you're a thought leader, you have to be very careful how you approach things and what you say.
Gotcha.
So I think, X is fine. It's gonna survive, but it's gonna be like Ethereum Classic and Ethereum, because what happens is the money flows towards development and people, because people develop and they use things, right? So if no one wants to buy EHEX, no one's building applications around EHEX, no one's doing new things with EHEX, it's just going to slowly fizzle out, just like most tech does. It will still exist. It'll still be its own thing. It'll become like a niche relic, just like how all these other weird coins like Ethereum Fair and Ethereum Proof of Work and all these other weird tokens exist, right? Those are all forks, and they'll just still persist. There's nothing better than waking up every single day to yield. It doesn't matter what's going on with the market. It's going up, down, sideways, backwards. Richard Hart's tweeting. He's not tweeting. People are crying. I'm waking up to a yield, and I click my button, click, harvest, sell.
Gotcha.
It's a great feeling, man. And then the best part is Pulsex shows you the dominations in dollars, and gives you a little calculator, so it's all clean. Like one of my wallets earns $28.66 every single day, and that's low because Pulse has gone down, Ink has gone down. Imagine Ink goes back up, man.
And I'm hearing it wouldn't be good to do any swaps on Pulsex because it's like people are eating up a lot of slippage, or because the liquidity is low or something like that. I'm not sure if that's correct.
You're saying don't trade on Pulsex because there's low liquidity?
Yeah, something like that. I heard today that it'll be better to swap on Patius or something like that.
It just really depends on the token, because sometimes the gas is just much higher, right? So it's all relative to gas. When the gas is spiking, you're getting ripped off. I paid $1 per transaction on Patius or more, and when the gas was spiking last month. But then, because again, it's an aggregator, it's sourcing multiple hops, and you're getting dinged for each hop for the trades, right? But if it can get you a better rate, it gets you a better rate. If it's worth it with the gas, whatever. Now it depends on the token. And if I'm just doing a quick swap, I don't care. Now this is the other thing, right? It depends on the tokenomics. And I know that's really obscure because that could be anything, but specifically, I'll give an example. Tax tokens like WePulse, if you buy it through an aggregator, it's getting taxed multiple times because it's hopping multiple times. So you don't want to buy it off Patius. You want to get it straight off Pulse XV2. And again, it's going to be cheaper on the gas because it's not having to do multiple hops.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Into that.
Yeah, Ink token, man. There's kind of like a weird cult following behind Ink. It's a very bizarre community. They call them like Ink whales or whatever, but like I don't know. I think people are just getting hyped up on the whole eco. But this is what I've seen. Okay, I'll tell you because I'm a trader. I watch charts all day long. When Pulse goes up, like it's almost like the Pulse like the Bitcoin and altcoin type dynamic with like Pulse, Pulsex, and Ink. When Pulse goes up, Pulsex goes up naturally, but at a magnified rate, right? So for example, last hour, Pulse is up at 1%, Pulsex is up 1.5%. It's outperforming, but it does the reverse. When Pulse was going down, Pulsex dumps faster because it's treated like an altcoin and doesn't have the same liquidity structure. Now, Ink token does the same thing, but even more magnified. So I would see, for example, like on a day where Pulse went up 5%, when it was really booming, Pulsex would be up 10%, Ink would be up 20%. It would be like 3 to 4 times the gains of what Pulse would have. So it's important to remember that because it could whipsaw back down like it has. It went from, let's see, $9.47 to $3.72 in the matter of a month, a month and 5 days. It's a 60% retracement on that thing. And let's see where Pulsex is at. Because Pulsex is probably worse, to be honest, because it got pump and dumped really bad. Yeah, Pulsex is down 64.8% at the same time period. And then Pulse is down 56% in 35 days. So everything's just taken a huge hit. Part of it is a lot of the liquidity leaving. People got fed up with waiting around for Richard Hart to do something, and the market's booming in all these other sectors. And these guys aren't stupid. They can see the gains. They know where they're being made, and their friends are laughing at them because they're sitting here twiddling their thumbs while they're making millions of dollars off of dog coins and cat coins and hamster coins.
Gotcha. You think there's still more downside?
I don't know, man. To be honest, I think we've already been shredded pretty hard. And, the people that are hardened, they're going to stick it out. Sure, could we get a couple more capitulation wicks like we did the other day where one giant whale got out and sold like $3 million in one day and hurt us? Yeah, that could always happen again. But at a certain point in time, I think RH is going to do some more of those buybacks like he's shown. He's already done it when the price went pretty low.
Right.
Let me see how much money he has in that wallet, actually, because I'm curious. I haven't looked at it in a while.
I'm trying to buy some more.
Yeah, Pulsex.
Yeah, I already loaded up on some Hex and the Ethereum Hex. I'm just trying to get some PLS and PLSX, Pulsex.
Yeah. I got wrecked on Pulsex last month by just being too bullish on it at the wrong time, thinking, oh, we got to sacrafice, we're going to go back up and try to reattempt it again, or I don't know, whatever, break through it. And it just got rejected horribly. We lost 65% basically. And I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. People, they got overexcited about Bitcoin. Bitcoin pulled back, right? And that's going to affect everything. People got overexcited about Richard Hart buying, and that, got sold into rather than sustained. And any fresh capital quickly either reversed or had to sell out of, panic or fear because of losses. They were just going to get liquidated on any position they had or just whittled to nothing. And it kind of turned into this whole thing where everyone was hyper bullish and then now hyper critical about, the situation, and oh, we hate him and whatever. Everyone's like salty. And yeah, a lot of people lost a lot of money, but that's happened across the whole market. And the market's already gone up a lot and still is up a lot. So a lot of people are still in profit. People did well. And if you didn't take your profits, that's your lesson. That kind of bullishness doesn't come very often. We saw 3 to 5 to 6x gains on major coins. And then on altcoins, they were doing tens to hundreds of thousands of X's. It's crazy. So you can't control that. And people think it's going to keep going like infinitely. That's the foolishness, is people always repeat the same cycle of over expectation when that's not the reality of life. So speaking of that wallet that pumped Pulsex up to sack price, it's holding $1.6 million in ETH. It's holding $1.3 million in Pulse, which it had bought back. It's holding 260,000 in Ink, which it bought back. It's holding 200,000 in Hex, the P-Hex, which it had bought back. And the liquid stables, it has like about, let's say, 110K or something. But what it has in the farm, people forget it's also farming on Pulsex. So it's Pulsex LP's got $1.1 million, $1.17 million. And this one right here, he's farming like USDC with DAI, USDT with DAI to provide stability for the ecosystem, right? He doesn't want to, lose money, but he still wants to provide stability with dollars and have enough dollars in the system to, balance them out. Because of course, if you get fluctuation in the market, what's going to happen is that you're going to get a depeg on one of these assets. So he needs to provide liquidity to stabilize, like USDC on Pulse, USDT on Pulse, and DAI on Pulse. Anyway, point is, he's been pulling money out of this, though. I've seen transactions where he'll remove LP. He already removed like $1 million out of this. He took it out, and that's what he was using to buy last time.
Yeah, interesting.
So, long story short, there's $1.1 million in dollars. He's got another 100K liquid. So let's say 1.2, almost 1.3 million in stables. And he's got an ETH 1.6. So if he goes and launches another, what's almost $3 million, he puts that last like $3 million between ETH and stables, which he was doing, all ETH and stables, rotating them. Then, I mean, realistically, I don't see, at this low price, they would do really well for Pulsex, but before, the price before it went to sacrafice, it was like, let's say $55 to $57 per million. Right now it's trading around $30 per million. And he got it to go from that level up to 105, $105 per million. So it basically almost doubled from where it started, but he put in about $15 to $16 million, something around $15 million. Now, if you think about it, he has $3 million left. So what can you do with $3 million in this wallet, right? Who knows how many other wallets he has just chilling, sitting around? So he has $3 million. Let's say he launches this, and now he could get Pulsex. If he's just buying Pulsex, it'd be a pretty decent price. He could get a bunch. He can increase his bag by like almost 50%. I'm trying to think what impact that would have on the price, though. Putting $3 million into this thing. It's got 19 million single side. Might get a 30 to 40% pump on Pulsex if he were to put $3 million in. But again, that's assuming he's just using this last wallet. He's going to empty it, as he had shown that he was going to spend money from this one first. We haven't seen any other large whale wallets being active like that, unless he's secretly buying from other wallets that we just haven't known about. But there's a lot of people speculating that he actually was generating volume with wallets, both up and down. Now, if that's true, that would be just to increase the overall volume, to increase the metrics, to get more people to see it, like, oh, there's this many transactions, there's this much volume, blah, 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 because there's just not that much activity actually happening. That would make sense. Early on, that would make sense. You can't really prove it one way or the other. Now, has there been price manipulation on Pulsechain? Absolutely. I can see it. Now, who is behind it? We don't know. We have absolutely no idea. It could be people that are leverage trading on fame. It could be whales that just want to get it for cheaper. It could be some dude that just hates Pulsechain, like Justin Sun or CZ from Binance. Like, we don't know who's doing it, right? But someone is clearly suppressing the price, whether it's whales, whether it's an insider. And it's kind of become this whole thing where people, I don't know if they lost faith in Pulsechain, but they kind of just lost the sentiment. The bullishness has evaporated.
That's how it is, it always dies down. And then, it just becomes a topic again. I'm trying to get in when it's nobody's talking about it anymore. Get these cheap prices.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm already in Pulsechain. I'm already stuck here, man. I kind of have to ride it out at this point. We're already on the chain. So we're here to stay. But like I said, while it's going down, sideways, doing whatever it's doing, speculation is dangerous. Most people buy low, sell high, and it's not going any higher. It's just getting lower and lower and lower. So being a liquidity provider, you get fresh capital, and you can do what you want with that.
And when you think the top of the bull run might be, or the ending?
Next year, for sure. 2025 bull run peak.
You thinking like early January or mid like May 2025 or later?
Fall to winter 2025 for sure. Usually the cycles are 4-year cycles, right? That's what they always say, 4-year cycles.